I am Coach Adanna Austin. I am your business coach and marketing consultant, and I work with high-end entrepreneurs like yourself who are very serious about setting some intentional goals, getting clear on their ideal clients, and then developing those marketing and sales strategies that would make complete sense for their business so that they can grow and be sustainable, right? So that's what I do in a nutshell. And today I just want to talk to you about your content creation. So because I'm having a content creation masterclass on October 30th. I'm going to say June for some reason, right? On October 30th, and I want to make sure that you are very, very clear about what the masterclass is going to be about and what we're going to be talking about, right? So yes, we're going to be creating 30 days of content, but before we even jump into the creation of the 30 days of content, I want you to understand that content creation does not have to be something that is hard. It does not have to be something that takes you 5 to 6 hours every single week. Once you understand what type of content works for you, because the truth is, when you're talking about your content, you're not just talking about the words, right? You're also talking about the images that you're going to apply to the messages that you're going to be sharing, right? You also have to take into consideration who is your audience. You have to also take into consideration what platforms that you are using, right? All of these things you have to take into consideration when you are creating content. And that's why, guys, I always tell you it's not a one size fits all. Not because you see your gurus and these people like you love to follow on social media doing it means that is exactly what you need to do, right? You need to figure out what would make sense for me and my audience and what would be the most effective way to get my message out. Even though we all in business and we all have the mission to inspire, motivate, and educate our audience, which is what we do with our content, right? We're all inspiring, motivating, and educating our audience. But how we do it can be quite different. Two of the same businesses can be putting out two different types of content. Not because you're a hairdresser and I'm a hairdresser means our content has to look the same. My products or show behind the scenes, what would make more sense for you and your business, right? If I'm sharing stories, what type of stories do I share? Am I sharing stories about myself or am I sharing stories about my clients? So your content doesn't have to look the same. It does not have to look the same, but your content has to be consistent with your brand image and your brand voice, and it has to consistently share information. I think the internet is giving problems for some reason because both on Instagram and Facebook it said pause, right? But your content has to be consistent and it has to share information that will inspire, motivate, educate, and even entertain your audience, right? Because it depends on how you want to position yourself and your brand. And you use the content that you're creating really to position your brand the way you want to position your brand, to set yourself up as a particular person, right? That is what you're using your content to do. Yes, you're using your content to get sales, but before somebody can even buy from you, when they interact with you with your content has to inspire, motivate, educate them, and entertain them, right? Your content has to make them stop and think. It has to make them feel a particular way before they say, okay, based on this content that this person has put out, I am now going to click on that link or jump into their DMs or ask them about the price or whatever that process. It can be completely different for the same two types of businesses. Guys, your content is what is going to build that know, like, and trust with your audience, and your content is what is going to build your brand, right? Your content is not just your flyer. Your content is not just your face. Your content is a combination of things that you're going to put together, right? To educate your audience, inspire your audience, and motivate your audience, and convince them to build that know, like, and trust so that it's easy for them to say, yes, I want to buy from Adanna. Yes, Adanna is the greatest. Yes, Adanna is the best business coach out there. It's all about your content and not just creating great content that allows you to be consistent with your audience, right? That allows you to consistently show up with your audience, because the consistency is big. If you are not consistent with your audience, meaning they're not seeing you often enough, it doesn't mean you have to post 3 times a day or 6 times a day. It doesn't mean that you have to send an email every single day, but it means that you have to be consistent, because it's that consistent content that is going to be the difference between if somebody continues to follow you, if somebody saves your content, if somebody engages with your content, and bigger, if somebody decides to buy based on the content that you are putting out, right? So guys, remember, your content is not just the words, but your content is also the images that you attach to the words, right? Your content has to be consistent. Your content has to inspire, motivate, and educate. Your content is how you build that know, like, and trust with your audience so that you can get the sales. You know, we always talk about how to write content that converts into sales. It doesn't happen overnight, right? You have to build that know, like, and trust in order for you to start getting those sales consistently. You do that through the content that you share, right? And your content does not have to look the same like everybody else. Because you imagine if everybody in your niche or your market was coming on social media or sending emails or doing websites or creating their websites or writing their blogs, and they're just all saying the exact same thing. What a boring world we live in, right? And who has time for that, right? You don't have to sound like everybody else. It's okay for you to step out of the box. It's okay for you to be as creative as you want to be. It's okay for you to do something that nobody else has done in your tell you. Just remember that when you are creating your content, it does not have to look and sound like everybody else, but it has to be consistent. It has to be intentional. It has to inspire, motivate, educate, and entertain your audience. You use your content to build your brand identity, and that is how you're going to create content that converts into sales.